Someone's toppled Lady Liberty, and instead of finding the bastards and chopping their freedom-hating balls off, you hop in a car and drive around. What the hell is wrong with you? It's Race After 1977 for the iPhone. Race After 1977 was developed by Expect Games, a Swiss studio with an apparent affinity for the late 70s. I mean, that seems to be the only possible reason for this game to take place in 1977. Although, really, who can blame them? That was the same year Foreigner released their self-titled debut, which is entirely appropriate because this feels like the first time they've ever done a racing game. Alright, that was kind of harsh. Well, without being cold as ice, there are some nice things about Race After 1977. Terrific graphics and Game Center integration included. It's just the loose steering and rough racing physics, they get me kind of hot-blooded. Oh, sorry, that's not even the right album. The year it takes place in aside, Race After 1977 is a post-apocalyptic racing game, taking place in the aftermath of an apparent nuclear war. Driving through 10 courses covering 5 different sets of ruins, you race 4 opponents in a pure, gimmickless game of race to the finish. I like that Race After 1977 focuses on racing. There are no weapons or bombs or charitable blue reptile shells. This game is all about straight-ahead racing, and at least in theory, I love the approach. The problem is, the controls, well, they drop a nuke on everything that Race After 1977 stands for. Now, to the game's credit, there are 3 control schemes. You can play with a steering wheel at the bottom of the screen, with arrows on the sides, or with tilt. I've never played a racing game in my life that plays better thanks to tilt, and Race After 1977 doesn't change that. I ended up going with the arrows because the steering wheel was actually the worst of the 3, none of which are very good in the first place. It's impossible to race with precision when you're tapping arrows to steer. It just feels awkward. It's like trying to type with your thumbs. The whole time I was playing Race After 1977, I just kept wishing for an analog stick, and that's exactly what motion and touch controls shouldn't do. But you know, frankly, it's more than just the controls. The racing itself is also a problem, and the physics are as loose as those controls. Everything just feels floaty, as if you're never gripping the road. Some of the 9 cars do play better than others, but the problem is the game's mechanics. For a game that's all about gimmick-free racing, bad racing is a bit of an issue. But Race After 1977 does look cool. The graphics are sharp and it pulls off the whole Mad Max look really well. But even the graphics pose a problem, as it can actually be a challenge to discern where the track is actually going. Sometimes I drove into walls, not only because the controls were bad, but because I didn't see the turn until it was too late. Now, as of right now, the game doesn't have any multiplayer, but Race After 1977 does include Game Center support for plenty of achievements. If you can actually pass these unforgiving AI opponents, well, that's an achievement in itself. Simplicity is an admirable design approach, but it only works when the gameplay is strong enough to support it. Unfortunately, that's where Race After 1977 blows a tire and stalls out. Broken down along the side of the road with little more than a nifty concept and Foreigner on the cassette deck.